Now we're on the video game news, and this is weird, Tristan. I don't know how to react to this. So
Mm,
no, I don't get it. 'Cause I don't understand. No, because here's the thing, right? So okay, Atlus USA issued a
yeah.
takedown to a PS3 emulator developer, and the reason why is because the developer was saying things in his on his Patreon, like, "Oh, hey, this emulator will be able to play. It's so good. It's going to be so good because they're working on the emulator. It's so
Mm,
good that it's going to be able to play games like Persona 5." And it's like, "Hey, dude, or dudette, or just dude person, don't
mm,
say stuff like that."
right.
It's not illegal. I don't know if you know this, Tristan. It's not illegal to make an emulator.
Mm,
But to say, oh, it can play games like this, the problem is that you don't have the rights to that
right.
game.
Yeah.
So unless it's something that's open source, or it's so old that potentially you can get away with, hey, who are the license holders, right? So they're not
Mm,
really enforcing the license, and that's not saying that you should be able to like package it with the game or anything. I'm just saying that there are some cases where you can kind of skirt by saying like, oh, this plays X game or this plays Pong, you know?
yeah.
Pong is not Persona 5.
Yeah.
So this person should not have done that. And even,
Right.
by the way, even according to Atlus USA, they were like, hey, the PS3 emulator in no way infringes on our copyrights and trademarks.
Right.
But don't fucking say that Persona 5 should be playable on the platform.
Yeah.
By the way, you can make it so that it's playable. You just can't fucking say that you're,
Advertise it
yes,
like that.
advertise it.
Yeah.
And the reason why you can, by the way, they might not, because the reason why they're trying to say, oh, hey, don't say this, is because they don't want people downloading the game and then playing it off of their hard drives.
Right.
But there is nothing wrong if you have a Blu-ray drive, popping in your PS4 game and playing playing Persona 5 through this future PS3 emulator. Now, perhaps I want to say two things. One, I'm not a lawyer.
Mm,
Don't listen to fucking anything I say as if it's law. Okay, it's one. Two, I am comparing this to my knowledge of older cartridge-based games. So perhaps newer games do have stricter DRM, like restrictions. So maybe
right.
they, according to Atlus, they're like, no, even with our game being on disc, you're still infringing on our copyrights because we're trying to put in copyright protection that only allows it to be played on a
Right.
PS3.
Yeah.
Also, I said PS4 disc. This is a PS3 emulator, so obviously you'd be popping in a Blu-ray PS3 disc. So sorry about that.
Right.
But yeah. So what's your take on this, Tristan? Technically legal, but also dumb.
I mean, yeah, I heard, like, the outcry that I heard from people in favor of this being able to run on the emulator was that people want to play it on their PC that don't have the console.
And there is no PC version right now.
No, there is not.
To be fair.
And I don't know that there ever will be, because Atlus even, it understands, like, oh, we have fans that want a PC version of this, but they really haven't given anyone any kind of alternative.
Yes, and
And
also, and to be
it
fair,
sucks because
and
I
to
really do
yeah.
love Atlus.
Mm-hmm.
I've loved them as a company. I thought they've been doing a great job with their games.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry for those people that play PC and not on console.
Well, I mean, I'll say
I
this much,
really don't
right?
know what else to
Well,
say.
I'll say this. In theory, these people are saying, hey, we could buy your PS3 game and play it on our console. And if they're doing that, then fair. In my opinion, it's fair. I don't know about the DRM stuff. That's why I'm saying I'm not a lawyer. And I'm not that hip with current games and what they put into them to try to stop you from playing them on a PC.
Yeah, because they
But
even
yeah.
have a quote that says, "We kindly ask that you remove both for this
Mm-hmm.
reason to make Persona 5 work on the emulator. The user has to circumvent our DRM
Okay,
protections
right. Right.
to do so."
And yeah,
So,
and that's what sucks because technically it's one of those weird situations where I don't know how to feel about it because he shouldn't be advertising it, or whoever
yeah,
Neko Takina is should not be advertising that you can play Persona 5 on this. Also, I feel weird about Neko Takina having a Patreon
Mm-hmm.
because, you know, I feel strange about it because I feel like I'm demonizing the people that I will, I could be using their work. So in other
Right.
words, what I mean by that is I feel weird when someone says, "Oh, someone who works at McDonald's shouldn't get $15 an hour." And it's like, okay, then don't show up at 2 in the fucking morning. That's more so with Wendy's, right, where it's 24 hours. If you're going to say
Yeah.
that this person shouldn't get that much money or say, "What are they going to be working at the Wendy's? It's so shitty to work there. No one should work at Wendy's." I don't feel that way, but if someone does, it's like, okay, then don't go there at 3 in the morning. Like, why are you
Yeah.
using the exact thing
Right.
that you are degrading, right?
Right.
So I'm not trying to degrade this person who's trying to create this emulator. It just always feels weird when when something that, even though it's legal, it can potentially circumvent DRMs
Right.
and money is being exchanged. That's
Yeah.
strange to me. Where, like,
Right.
I'm not saying that. Because, look, right? There are people that release those Raspberry Pi, the cartridges with Raspberry Pis in them, or Raspberry Pis in, like, little tiny NES shells. As long as you're not putting 700 plus games on there, it's legal, right? Not
Right.
The emulator is a little iffy. Depends on what emulator you're looking at. Mostly now, but it's legal to put
Right.
that on there and to sell it, right? So that's a bit different, right? Where here, it's not like he or this person is loading any games on with this PS3 emulator. To be fair, they're
Right.
not. They're not. But it's, I don't know. It's money being exchanged to create the emulator, and that's
Yeah.
what's, I guess, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't feel like this is weird. I mean, maybe I should feel like the people who create these emulators are valued, because this guy isn't, or this person, from what we understand here, is not trying to rip the BIOS from a PS3.
Right.
This person's making it from scratch, apparently.
Yeah.
So if you're making it from scratch, it's actually even more legal than it would be. Because here's the thing, Tristan, I don't know if you know this. It's legal when it comes to NES games, Super NES, and N64. It's legal to emulate those, and it's even legal to emulate PS1 and PS2. The problem comes from when people haven't made, as far as I know, people haven't made surefire emulators for PS1 and PS2 that don't have the BIOS from a PS2 and a PS1. So what that means is the BIOS are, like, I guess, digital guts, if you want to call it that, like, or the digital mind. So it really thinks it's a PS1, PS2 because it's actually data from the PS1, PS2.
Right.
So it's not trying to fake being it. It actually thinks it is because it technically is. Bad
Right.
explanation, I'm sure people in the comment section below are going to be shitting on me. But the point is that I'm trying to explain is that you can fake an NES or a Sega Genesis easier than you can a PS1, PS2. That's why when the BIOSes are exchanged, shit gets really dicey. And you
Right.
cannot be, like, it's technically a legal gray area to being more illegal to give out the BIOS and stuff like that.
Right.
So from what I'm seeing here, it looks like this person is not trying to give out any BIOS, because the person's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get the BIOS from this." Do not give this person any money. I don't think they
Right.
deserve money, because that's really illegal. But if you're
Yeah.
building this from the ground up, which it sounds like this person is, I guess money isn't an issue, but
Right.
apparently a lot of PS3 games are going to have these DRMs on them.
Right.
So now, is that a legal issue? Like, it's very
Sure.
reminiscent of It's a Wonderful Life. I don't know if you guys know that movie. I know you would, Tristan, at least in passing. You know It's a Wonderful Life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The reason why I bring this up is because the movie's actually in the public domain because of a clerical error. But here's where things get fucking tricky. The company, I forgot what company. I'm just going to say, at the time it might have been RKO Pictures. I don't know what company now. I'm just going to say it's Paramount, even though I know it's not. Might be Universal.
Right.
Fuck it, it's Universal now. So what Universal did was they bought the rights to the original short story that it was based on. So the footage, if you dubbed over the footage and did anything you want with it, technically you can get away with it if you made it a
Right.
completely different movie as like a parody dub. But
Right.
you can't show the movie on TV or sell it on VHS, because then the company can come after you because they own the rights to the original book.
Right.
And that's what it was based off of.
Right.
So they can try to get you there, and to double fuck you, they license the soundtrack.
Ooh.
So you would have to...
Double whammy.
Yeah, double whammy.
Yeah.
So the story and the music.
Right.
So you're fucked, right? So in this case, you could argue it might be considered the same thing, where, oh, you can emulate games all you want, but my game has a DRM protection.
Right.
So then you're infringing on what we put on there. And that's where things get even dicier now.
And I think it's also very important to point out that, like, the emulators developers, they did remove all references to Persona 5 on their Patreon page.
Yes.
But the fact that Persona 5 is basically Atlus's child right now, it even, like, at the time this is coming out, Persona 5 has been brought up for Game of the Year.
Oh, wow.
And Atlus has come out saying that they don't want fans' first experience with this title to have any problems, any issues like frame rate drops or crashes or other issues that can come up in emulation, and they have not personally overseen. So really, I think the reason that they're so protective of Persona 5 specifically is because it's their biggest title out to date.
Yes. I disagree with the first part of their statement, but I definitely agree with their last part. So what do I mean by that? They say, hey, we haven't overseen this. We don't know how it's going to look. I agree with you 100%. It's yours. It's your copyright. You're allowed to just say that, right? But when you say we don't want their first experience to be with a buggy, glitchy, like, come on. Like, no one's going to play it on their computer and think, wow, Atlus really screwed the pooch here, playing it through an emulator.
True.
People
They
know.
also go further to state, you know, unfortunately, when our content is illegally circumvented and potentially made available for free in a format we do not think delivers the experience and quality we intended, it undermines our ability to do so by delivering potential support from new audiences.
See, that right there is what matters, because what they're worried about is, it's not so much because in their heads, right, they're like, well, look, we can't stop people with, you know, modded PS3s playing backups that they downloaded online of Persona, 5, right? Yeah. But what they're thinking is, if an emulator comes out, then they're going to be circulated even more. Instead of people just... Because obviously I'm trying to be, Mr. White Knight here. But people could buy the game. Oh, of course they will, Matt. Go to sleep. Of course they're going to buy the game. Like, I know. Everyone's listening to this right now. Everyone's watching this right now like, Matt, how fucking stupid are you, right? I get it. I'm just saying that with an emulator, it's not like emulators only mean you can't play. I mean, they're the retrodes. I don't know if you know about the retrodes, Tristan. With a retrode, I think they've been discontinued, but like every once in a while, the creator comes back with more. You can buy a retrode. You can plug in a Super Nintendo cartridge into the retrode, and then plug it into your computer via USB, and then play it on an emulator. So you can actually play legit Super Nintendo games via an emulator if you wanted to.
Right.
So I'm just trying to say that it's not like every single emulator means that people are going to pirate, but I totally get Atlus being like, hey, none of this shit. None of this shit. It just, the first part I'm not a fan of. There's the whole, well, we don't want people to be playing buggy versions. It's like, look, if you're getting a PS3 emulator, I know it's easy to search for things online now more so than ever before, but I feel like if you're getting a PS3 emulator and you're getting this game online, or you bought the game and you're putting it into your computer, and your computer has a Blu-ray, drive to it and everything, there aren't going to be people sitting there going, "Wow, Atlus really fucked this one up. It's so laggy." Like, no, immediately if someone tried to say that shit on a forum, they would be taken down by someone going, "You idiot, you're using an emulator. What do you think it's going to be like?" So I don't think people are actually going to sit there and go, I don't want Persona 5 to be Game of the Year because the emulator that I'm using to play it, it's just, the game is so buggy. So that's, but it's their copyright. They're allowed to, they don't want it to look that way, then okay.
I feel like that's why they're jumping. I feel like that's why they're jumping on it. So like
Yeah.
being kind of harsh about it in a sense.
Yeah.
It's because it's their biggest title out to date.
And okay,
so,
it is. So yeah.